What's going on, guys? This is Jason of Auglitical. I swim through the politics so you don't drown too. I'm just a man trying to bring common sense in a world where common sense isn't so common. So I'm gonna just sit here and say this. Sometimes when it comes down to certain things in this world, you have bad people that will use your weakness or kindness against you. And then once they come into power, all of those luxuries that they took from you, they will give none back to you once they have the power. In this case right here, I'm going to just sit here and say it. I don't give a shit about the other culture. We don't do that here. Anyway, let's get into it. So we're over on Alpha News, and I saw this story a while ago, and I said, I need to say something about this. I want to cover this, and I want you guys to know about this. This is not one of the more lighthearted videos. This is not low-hanging fruit. This is stuff that's going to offend the wokies or certain individuals that if the shoe fits, because I'm gonna call it out the way it is. It is what it is, and it's fucked up, and it shouldn't be this way. Islamic Center writes community support letter for Somali immigrant convicted of raping a 12-year-old. One more time. An Islamic Center writes community support letter for Somali immigrant convicted of raping a 12-year-old. So just off of that title alone, you sit there and you say, wait, hold on. Not allegedly, convicted, meaning he did it. And so a whole group, the Islamic Center, a whole group of fucking people came together in support of a fucking rapist, a pedophile. So at this point, you sit here, I know I sit here and I say to myself, or any common sense man or woman sits there and says, well, damn, they're just as bad as he is. And the truth of the matter is, yes, a lot of them are, because that's what they ultimately do believe. They will come into this country, they will pretend to get along until, like over there across the pond, they get the numbers and then they start to take shit over. Right now, we're seeing we're not as bad or as fucked as it is across the pond, right? Over there in England. But we're getting to that point. They're not even showing that they're ashamed of this type of shit because, as far as they're concerned, the radicals want to overwrite the US Constitution with their ass backwards, tribalistic, barbaric fucking culture. Their whole religion that envelops their entire that ideology envelops everything they fucking do. So it's not just religion, it's the way they live, it's their laws, it's everything. Everything. Anyway, let's get it. Minnesota law allows, I can't even pronounce this man's name, Qualini Abraham Derry to be released from prison in 2033 and remain on probation for the rest of his sentence. Let's just read this community letter. We, the undersigned members of the Somali community, write this letter to express our strong and heartfelt support for Qualendri Derry, a member of our community. Many of us first met Qualini through our shared journey as Somali refugees, arriving in this country with little more than hope and a determination to rebuild our lives. So many of us, Qualini has faced the challenge of starting over in a new culture, learning English, adjusting to a fast-paced system, and raising children in an environment far different from the one we grew up in. He's a father already, and he's raping children. And the best they can come with is he's coming from trying to rebuild his life by continuing to live the life of shit that they have lived wherever the fuck they came from. I'm so sick and tired of this fucking narrative, especially, and I've seen this happen where the wokies, and yes, I'm specifically speaking not to the economic migrants, to white people. And of course, you got some woke blacks out there, woke whatever the other fucking thing that comes out with it. Woke white judges that'll sit there and literally use the excuse they come from a different culture they don't understand. Then what the fuck are you doing in their country? What the fuck are you doing in a country of civilized individuals? If you act like this is the fucking problem, and I've said it multiple times. When you are lax and relaxed and you feel like every criminal deserves a redemption story, society as a whole, civilization as a whole gets worse and worse. You stop stumbling, now you fucking falling. It's a slippery slope. You're fucking falling head first now. Now you're not just tripping and falling on your knees, falling on your face. You're falling into pits. You're falling into fucking crevices. Now you're falling off of canyons. This is where we are right now. And this is the thing that they run with. And they run with this now because they know that this is the shit that has worked multiple times. I may butcher this because this is coming off of the top of the dome, but I remember hearing multiple stories of other places and probably in America too at some point, because it's gonna happen, where you have these grown ass men raping these young ass children, doing grooming gangs. And I don't care what skin color you are, what culture you are, what race you claim to be. I don't care if you're black, white, Chinese, any of the shit. Treat them all the fucking same. If they belong in that land, then you stay in jail forever. That's since some, wokies, they consider rape when it's considered to an American man to be worse than death, unless it's some fucking immigrant. And then it's the hive gets silent. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I'm attacking the hive or females or feminism for this is because they are on the forefront. They are the ones who push this shit the most. We've all seen the fucking pictures of you got these fucking women, mostly white women, who literally will sit there with signs. I literally just had the picture, and the sign says, "I feel safer with refugees than with men. This is why we picked the bear." Anyway, this is why they're running with this in the letter, is because they know that this is the shit that works. Pull to the heartstrings, call him a family man, say that he's caring and compassionate, right? No different than blacks when they sit there and they go, oh, they didn't do nothing, right? He's a community supporter. He was trying to run over the police with his car to get them some water on a hot summer day. Okay. Or when they try to sit there and pretend that there's some whites that don't do crazy shit. Anyway, let's continue. Before this situation, Qualini was known as a devoted family man and an outgoing person who would talk to anyone he came across in the community, whether taking his children to school or work. See, and that's right there. That's how they get you with the no mix up. So again, I'm sorry. I just got to break it down, right? We got to use our heads here. So let me get this straight. So Qualini's been in America for as long as he has, and he goes out there and he will talk to anybody he came across in the community. And you mean to tell me he didn't learn that that's not acceptable? Or maybe, just maybe, just fucking maybe, your community failed him because your community is broken and your community cannot coexist with Western cultures. Is that it? He could talk to anybody in the community and nobody in the community told him, hey, you can't be raping children. Had plenty of time. He's already a dad. Again, this is the thing that kills me, is because let's say if I was born in Gaza, right? At some point, you got to sit there and go, this is right, this is wrong. This is right, this is wrong. Oh, this is the culture that we live in? Well, this culture's fucked up. Oh, I'm going to a place where I'm trying to escape from the place where my fucking religion failed, my culture, my type of people failed. Okay, then I'm gonna assimilate. I'm gonna follow their customs. Hell, you know what? That's funny. You know what? I have children. I don't want fucking my children being molested. I don't want my children being raped. You know what? Maybe I won't do that to other children because that's the right thing to do. Because that's the common sense. The fact of the matter that in these people's heads, they think that it is okay to rape women or children. And you go, how do you people even get across bodies of water and find yourselves in places where people don't do that shit? How? You people shouldn't even be making it past your own goddamn borders and whatever dirk land you live in. Those people, not all of them, but the ones who sit there and they won't change, stay where you fucking came from. Maybe you deserve to be where you came from. Maybe you don't need assistance or finding. Anyway, whatever. Let's continue. Because I'm not even in the goddamn article yet. Whether taking his children to school or a park, we witness his love for his family and friends. Many of us also know how close he is to his grandmother. He is her support line. Many of us has been to his home, worked with him, or met him in different community activities. Each time, Cornini was a kind and outgoing human being. He has also been an active volunteer in our mosque. I'm not Al Hassan Islamic Center, where he regularly visited during Friday prayers. Again, so he regularly visits this fucking church or this mosque or whatever, this place of worship. That means the mosque has failed. You want to vouch for him? Okay. Everybody who signed that fucking letter, y'all need to go. Let's play that game. Now we're watching you. We want you to fuck up so you can leave. Go back to where you want to go back to. Man, I would violate. You don't even understand. Anyway. All right, where he visited during Friday prayers, Ramadan, and community events. You'll often find him helping elders find rides home or staying after to help clean up. Yeah, okay, he's a fucking predator. Anyway, his service has never been about recognition, just a quiet commitment to supporting the spaces that hold our community together. So I just need you guys to understand what's happening right here. These parasites, these shit stains are all coming together. Not because they believe that he's innocent, but because he's one of their own. That is it. That is it. So again, and this is completely fucking wrong for any group of fucking people to do this. And when you see shit like this, if these are the people who you hang around, you need to remove yourself from these type of people. You will never catch me sitting there with a bunch of fucking people who hate a whole nother group of people. I've even called out other groups of people, talking to an Asian girl, sweetest girl I've ever known, and then when Japanese people are brought up, she had an unfounded, unfucking rivaled rage for Japanese people, especially Japanese women. I go, yo, what the fuck is wrong with you? You don't even know Japanese people in your life and you hate these people. They don't affect you in any fucking way. And you just hate them. You never met them and you just hate them. Or when it comes down to ignorant blacks and you sit there and you go, you hate white people, but there's no white people in your direct line of life. You just fucking hate them because you was told to hate them. And truthfully, what it really is you just hate everyone. Or the new far people on the right, all the fucking groypers that are neo-Nazi cosplayers that they hate every other fucking group, but many of their members are not even fucking white, which is fucking hilarious. And the truth of the matter is that they don't just hate blacks, they hate browns, they hate Asians, they hate women, they hate, you get them, realistically. And you just got to sit there, and as a person, you don't need to be like this fucking individual who came from this fucking place and claimed that, oh, you don't understand. Just like if you're white, if you see a group of white people coming together, you don't get with a group of white people coming together for a message of hate. Just like a black person should not get with a group of black people for a message of hate, or any other fucking group. It's fucking stupid. It doesn't work. It doesn't help. Anyway, we're done with the message. Let's get it. A Somali immigrant living in the United States has been sentenced for 12 years imprisonment. 12 years for raping a 12-year-old. For raping a 12-year-old girl in Minneapolis last year. After the conviction, an Islamic center in St. Paul wrote a community support letter for the perpetrator. Kwalini Abraham Derry, 42, this motherfucker is 42, was born in Somalia during the country's civil war and grew up in Kenyan refugee camps. Thanks, Obama. In 2006, Derry immigrated to the United States. So he's been here for almost 20 fucking years. 20 years. And he hasn't adjusted to American culture yet. This is the fucking problem when you allow people to come into your countries, right? When you allow people to come into the country and they don't assimilate, and you say, oh, this is fine. This is fine. That's like letting your friend come over. Your mother allows your friend to come over, and then you allow another friend to come over, and your mother's like, okay, everybody just play nice. And then their friends are allowing other people to come over. That ain't your house no more. They're not even respecting basic rules of your house anymore. And then you get kicked out of your own goddamn home. Anyway, Derry immigrated to the United States and initially spent time in Minnesota before moving to North Dakota for several years. He eventually moved back to Minnesota in 2014, where he since lived. Alpha News is not aware of Derry's citizen status. In July 2024, Derry was charged with raping a 12-year-old girl. Now, I'm just going to sit here and say this. So a person who's going out there and sexually assaulting a 12-year-old, right? He didn't do it when he was in Dakota. Is it because over in Minnesota it's Somalia Central, so he's more comfortable in his natural habitat, which is crazy because it's on American soil. It's not in fucking Kenya. Anyway, uh, in July 2024, Derry was charged with raping a 12-year-old girl. According to the criminal's complaint in the case, the victim said she was playing in the backyard of her family's home in Minneapolis when a man started talking to her from an alley behind the house. The man reportedly asked if the victim's mother was home, and the victim said she was not. So this was planned. This was premeditated. This is not he doesn't understand. He knew exactly what the fuck he was doing. But let's continue. Court documents say the man left the scene for a few minutes, but returned, putting his hand over her mouth, forcing her into a car and striking her over the head. The victim said the man drove a short distance away from the home, pulled over, and sexually assaulted her. Eventually, the victim was able to run home. This girl was lucky. He wasn't violent. Much more violent. This little girl is extremely lucky he wasn't much more violent. And this is the thing. How do we know that this is not something that has happened before? Or should I say, we know that this has happened before and the individual doesn't get caught because their centers, their communities cover it up. Anyway, according to criminal charges, the victim had contact information for Mohammed Moose in her phone. When asked about that person, the victim said Mohammed Moose was the man who assaulted her. Using that cell phone contact, a sting operation was set up by the victim's family several weeks after the assault. Derry arrived at the victim's home and was taken into police custody. And mind you, he watches out for the elderly. He stays back and helps people get rides. Derry is a deep... I'm sorry. On May 28, 2015, the jury found Derry guilty of first-degree criminal sexual conduct after he was convicted. Derry's family submitted letters to Judge Michael E. Burns, which asked the judge to consider Derry's character when making a sentencing decision. Derry is a deeply good man whose presence enriches the lives of those around him, yet that did not stop this good man from sexually assaulting and taking away the liberties and freedoms of a 12-year-old girl, a 12-year-old innocent girl. Grown-ass man. 42 years old, 40 years old of age. And he doesn't know no better. He knows no fucking better. No better. He knows no better. I respectfully ask that you consider his character, his contributions, and his outgoing potential when making your decision. Crazy. Among other things, the letter portrayed Derry as a hardworking family man who genuinely strives to make meaningful contributions. Okay, contributions to what though? Is it to the country of America? Or is it to the takeover, hostile takeover of America? Which one? In addition to the letters from the family, the Ihsan Islamic Center in St. Paul submitted a community support letter for Colini Derry to the judge. We, the undersigned members, okay. And one more time, just for the cherry on top, the Islamic Center wrote that the convicted felon has faced the challenge of starting over in a new culture. Get the fuck out of here, dog. The letter was signed by Ahmed Ashna, the executive director of the Al Hassan Islamic Center. No other signatures were on the document. Of course not. Alpha News reached out to the Al Hassan Islamic Center to ask why it would submit a community support letter for a felon who was convicted of raping a 12-year-old girl. Neither Ashna nor the Islamic Center responded to media inquiries. The situation Derry is currently faces comes as a deep shock to all of us. Why? He raped a child. Why would it come as a shock to anybody? I mean, it probably wouldn't come to a shock to people who follow that faith, though, because it's not unheard of to marry a girl who's 8 years old in some of the countries. Concluded the Islamic Center's letter, it does not reflect the man we know, the man whose actions have consistently reflected family and community. We respectfully ask that his letter be considered as a sincere reflection of who he is. His contributions may not make headlines, but to us, he has made a positive difference. Last week, Judge Burns sentenced Derry to 12 years in prison, the least amount of prison time recommended by Minnesota's sentencing guidelines for first-degree criminal sexual assault. Derry is required to register as a predatory offender. Minnesota law allows Derry to be released in 2033 and remain on probation for the rest of his sentence. Derry is currently being held in Minnesota Correction Facility St. Cloud. Again, insane. And we're just letting these people in. We're not vetting them. And even when we're not vetting them, when they get caught doing terrible fucking things, they get slaps on the wrist. And the craziest thing is, there will be complete silence for shit like this. Because I have another story that I can cover that's even worse than this. And complete crickets from the women who were sitting there talking about, they'll scream and bitch in your face all day talking about men who are dating younger women or predators and X, Y, and Z, and consensual fucking marriage or consensual fucking relationships, right? Consensual, right? Consensual, but complete radio silence on shit like this. Because as long as it doesn't directly affect the hive, it is completely fucking fine. Hey, this shit is crazy. This shit is crazy. So he's gonna serve, it's 2025. He was convicted. So he's gonna serve like 6-7 years, right? 6-7 years? No, 2023. So he's gonna serve like 8 years. Like 8 years. I'm not fucking tired. I'm not good with math anyway. He's gonna serve a couple of years and then he gets out. So 12 years for raping a child. All right. All right. Let me know in the comments what you think, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace.